Hi everybody, Jordan Blotcher here, aka the Sports Card Lawyer, and I'm here with another investment video with tips and strategies for great cards that you can buy in order to maximize your profit and investment capabilities within the sports card hobby. So something that I want to do is every day I want to bring you one high stakes card, one mid stakes card, and one sort of low stakes card that I think is a great buy in any given day and which will allow you to really maximize your profits within this community if you're taking it seriously as an investment opportunity. I want there to be a little something for everyone. I want the people who have really large sports card budgets to have investment pieces that they can look at. I want people who buy sort of mid-tier cards to have something that they can look at, cards in the $400 to $600 range. And then I want people who are balling on a budget to not get left out either. I want them to also have, picks in the $100 to $300 range that are really great buys at any given time, because everybody is at a totally different place in the hobby. Everybody has different size bankrolls, and everybody is just trying to make some money and sort of find their footing and find their way and make some passive income in the hobby. And so the focus of this video is going to be high end. A card that I spotted today that I think is an absolutely tremendous buy, a strong buy. I'm personally buying it, and I think anybody else who has an opportunity to get their hands on this card at its current existing price should absolutely do so. And that card is the 2017 Patrick Mahomes Optic Red and Yellow. So the first thing that I should say is that the optic parallels are tremendously liquid. People absolutely love the optic parallels. I mean, even the optic base is an extremely liquid card that you'll be able to move at any time. People love it. It is a tremendously easy sell. If you decide that you want to trade the card at a 10% markup, you'll have absolutely no difficulty finding a buyer who's willing to, trade several or one high-end piece of their collection to get their hands on it, especially when that card is the marquee PSA 10 Patrick Mahomes Red and Yellow. So the first thing that we do anytime we're analyzing a card, I talked about this in a previous video, is we want to take a look at the year-long trend line. We want to go back as far as is reasonable. I think 1 year is a really great length of time to look at because it always encompasses at least one off-season and one full season. In this case, we actually, because we're in August, we have 2 off seasons and 1 full season, and so we can gain a lot of insight from that year-long trend line. And the first thing that we want to take a look at is, what the slope is of our trend line. Our preference is that it be flat. Because flat trend lines tend to indicate that the card's price is stable over a certain period of time. When we look at this particular trend line, we see that it is slightly downward sloping. Last September, the trend line looks like it was right around 2450-ish based off of this, and today the trend line is right around, it looks like 2100. So this card has overall lost about $450 of trend line value, which is around 20% over the course of a year. However, when we look at where that trend line is today, it's a $2,200-ish trend line, or sorry, $2,100-ish trend line, and the last sale of this card is at $1,192. So when you think about the difference between $1,192 and $2,100, that is a very, very large percentage. If we do 1192 divided by 2100 and then multiply that by 100, we get the percentage of the trend line that the card is currently trading at, and it's trading at 57% of its trend line. That is just tremendously low. Our thought is that we buy the card below the trend line, and then we sell it when it arrives back at the trend line. Of course, we won't be able to realize 100% of the trend line value if we're just selling it, because everybody wants a discount, especially if you're selling on eBay, you're going to pay 13.5% fees. If you're selling in a Facebook group, you're going to have a hard time getting more than 90% of the value of the card. But even if we had to settle for 90% of the eventual trendline value, if the card is going to get back to its trendline value, 90% of 2100 is still $1,900. And so if you manage to secure this card at $1,200, over the course of the next year, we expect it's going to rise $700 to $1,900, and you should be able to realize almost a 30 to 35% gain on your investment. And anytime we're buying anything, we of course should recognize that we're not always going to make 80 to 100% returns. Sometimes we will. If Patrick Mahomes went on to have an incredible year and you were to hold through the Super Bowl and he wins the Super Bowl, we're going to see the card trade much higher than its trend line. It's not going to be a $2,100 card anymore. It's going to be a $3,000 card, or it's going to be a $3,200 card, or potentially even higher. If you were to win a Super Bowl, the card could go to $4,000 and you would have secured it at $1,200, and you're able to sell it at $3,700 and make $2,500, and that's amazing. That's a 200% return. But that is not the game that we are playing here. If we were to take our money and we were to invest it in mutual funds or index funds, we could expect to make a 7 to 8% return on our investment. So anything we can do better than 7 to 8% return on our investment means that we are doing amazing. So even if you were to buy this card and make a 30% return on it over the course of a year, you are beating the market by almost 400%, and that is absolutely incredible. So if I had $10,000 right now, completely liquid, I would be going and trying to buy 8 of this Patrick Mahomes Optic Red and Yellow at $1,200. I expect that I will eventually be able to sell it at $1,900. Take that $700 profit, multiply it by 8, and you would have made $5,600 on a $9,600 investment, which is absolutely incredible. So that is my high stakes pick of the day. I don't think you can go wrong with this card, given its trend line and where it's trading relative to the trend line, and I would absolutely be looking to buy it. So that's this pick for the day. I really appreciate you tuning in and listening to what I have to say, and feel free to drop comments down below if you agree or disagree with my analysis. Have a great day, everybody.